Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's broadcast of Hamilton County High School Football Coaches Show. Brought to you by Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating 25 years in business. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsors. Our food sponsor tonight, Greek's Pizza on South 10th Street in Noblesville. Dine in or carry out. If you want to order ahead, give them a call, 317-770-4444. Other great sponsors, Noblesville Trophies, Community Health, Bill Clifford for Sheriff, and the Hamilton County Reporter. That's at www.readthereporter.com. Well, it was a busy weekend in high school football this week. Lots of good games to talk about with lots of the coaches, but just a little preview as to what's coming up later on this week on Hamilton County Television. Wednesday night, we will be at Noblesville for the Noblesville Carmel volleyball match. That is scheduled to start at approximately 6:30 on Wednesday afternoon. That will depend on the start and finish time of the JV match. Two big games coming up in high school football this weekend. Brownsburg goes over to Westfield. Jack and Victor will be over there, and going to Hamilton Heights will be the Noblesville Millers against the Hamilton Heights Huskies. Greg Adkins and I will be there on Friday night. Fans, we've also partnered with Fishers High School to showcase their student-produced sports on Hamilton County Television. Now you can watch the Fishers Sports Network games on www.hamiltoncountytelevision.com. Our first coach tonight will be Coach Jason Simmons of the Noblesville Millers. Coach Simmons could not be here with us live tonight, but Perry Williams caught up with him a little bit earlier this afternoon, so let's go to that interview with Coach Simmons.
Well, welcome to the Hamilton County Coaches Show. Today's guest, of course, is Jason Simmons, the coach of the Noblesville Millers. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Perry. I appreciate you coming out earlier today. Sorry I can't make the show tonight. Got a freshman game.
Well, this has got to be a total program, so you have to support those freshmen just like you do the seniors.
No question. No question. They got a big game tonight at home versus Zionsville, so we're looking forward to it.
Well, that's good. Let's talk a little bit about the game against Zionsville. The Millers went down 41-27, but we kind of dug ourselves a hole in the first half, and it was just a little bit too deep to get out of.
Yeah, no question we did. We were in position to make some plays early. Didn't make those plays. Their guys did. Our guys did not. And you get in situations like that, you got to tip your cap to them. They had a good game plan coming into it to attack our defense. They put some guys on an island and were able to get some chunk plays with it. We knew they had good football players coming into it. We knew we had to try and minimize that damage, and we didn't get that done. And so, for us to give up 27 in the first half, and then to conversely only score 3, when you look at that game on paper, we really lost the time of possession battle in the first half.
Yeah.
We had the ball for 7 of the 24 minutes. We couldn't put our defense was out on the field way too long. Offense again, that ends up being a team thing. You look at it and say, well, we gave up too many first downs. We didn't get enough first downs. Well, it's always a combination of those two things, and so we got to find ways to get better on both sides of the ball this week.
Absolutely. The one thing that I noticed, because I had watched some film on Zionsville and looked at their stats and everything, and one of the things that struck me was their running game was good coming into this game, and it was obvious their game plan was to use that running game early, okay, and try to spread us out a little bit so they could get some isolation on their passing game, and it worked.
Yeah, the one thing I felt like defensively is we never took anything away to make them one-dimensional. When you defend an offense as talented as this offense is, with the ability to run the football and the weapons that they can deploy on the field, we really felt like we had to make them one-dimensional, and we never did that. And that led us to spinning our wheels much of the night. On that defensive side of the ball, we gave up 450 yards, I think roughly 480 yards, and that it's going to be tough for us to win ball games giving up 41 points.
Absolutely. They got some great receivers. Some of our, our defensive backs and the passes that they did catch, did a fairly good job defending them in some cases, but they just went up in the air and was able to jump up there and get some of those big grabs, and we just didn't get the balls that were
No
thrown
question.
in the air.
You know, it's those 50-50 balls that people talk about a lot in basketball. I think those balls exist in football too.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, where you're as a defender, you're in good shape. You're in good phase with that receiver. One of those two guys is going to win that ball. You know, and we unfortunately didn't win enough of those on Friday. Got stuck in some coverage mismatches that they were able to exploit and take advantage of, especially on one of their long touchdown passes in the second half. We didn't play real discipline, you know, on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, I felt like our pad level was way too high up front. Whether that was absorbing a second level pressure or whether that was winning at the point of attack, we didn't get enough movement to kind of get the run game going. And they conversely made us one-dimensional. And when they were able to do that, you know, they could pin their ears back and try and put a lot of pressure on Grant.
Another highlight of the game was the ability of Jack Knight kicking field goals, because I know that you know, you always felt he was capable of kicking that close to a 50-yard field goal, 48 and a 49-yard field goal, and he did it in the game. And
well, he's a special kid. You know, he hits from that distance pretty regularly in practice, and you know, there's a lot of times it's easy to take that for granted when you know we're able to see him do it as much as he does in practice. But I was extremely proud of him. You know, he had a tough week last week, missing 2 extra points after penalties. And, you know, I think the thing that resonates with me the most about Jack is how much he's growing, how much his mental toughness and his confidence is just growing. And it's fun to see that maturation in a high school kiddo, that all of a sudden he has a little success. And it's like, you know, it's one of those fist pump moments as a coach that you see this kid grow and put all the work in, and for him to go out there and to accept that challenge and to meet it head on twice, you know, once going each direction was pretty impressive. You know, the other guy that to talk about on special teams is Chase Evans. You know, Jack used his 3rd holder this year on Friday, and you know, Chase did a nice job holding this week in practice. Those two built a comfort and a trust in each other, and that was important for us going into the game. You know, but I thought Chase handled the punt duties well. He's getting better every week, especially, you know, his get-off time's getting better. His hang time's getting better, and those are 2 areas that we challenged him on in practice, and he's really responded in that respect. In our kickoff return team, you know, I felt like other than the onside kick, that, you know, the possession they stole, you know, our kickoff return team had a great night too. So I feel like our special teams are playing really well, minus the one hiccup, you know, this past Friday with the onside kick.
Yeah, that was kind of a surprise to everyone, I think.
Yeah, you know, we showed so much of that to our kids all week long. Felt like we were prepared, and you know, our front wall took off a little early, and their kid did a heck of a job. You know, that's a tough kick to execute, and their kid did a great job pulling that off. And our front wall left a little early, and it was a perfect storm for them to steal a possession.
Yeah, and the one thing about it too that I noticed, you know, with Evans and Knight, you know, they spend a lot of time with each other, so that's kind of, you know, like camaraderie and everything.
No question.
For him for Evans to hold for Knight is a big deal, and that's a great thing. And the other thing too, I think the adrenaline really got pumped for Jack Knight, because he had a couple of booming kicks in the field and end zone on kickoffs too.
Yeah, he left one short and came off the field and kind of looked at me and just shook his head, because he, you know, his expectation is to hit it 5, 6, 7 yards deep in the end zone, and we certainly appreciate that weapon that we have in that regard. But you know, he has high expectations for himself,
sure,
and that's what we want all of our guys to have. And so, you know, Jack certainly had a good night on Friday.
What about you know, I'm sure that there was quite a bit of substitution going on the Zionsville side that 4th quarter, but we did put 21 points up there and looked a little bit better.
Well, I think what showed is, you know, some of the adjustments that we made at halftime offensively. You know, we changed a couple things. We're able to put up 24 points. Some of it, you know, they started subbing some guys defensively, but I felt like we handled pressure better. Grant got into a little bit of a rhythm. We changed some things adjustment-wise in the passing game as far as route structure. That helped us quite a bit. And I felt like our guys made some plays. We opened the second half with a good drive, got a great field goal out of Jack, had some momentum, and then turned around and gave up a score. I felt like we got to cut to 27-6. It doesn't sound like much, but with as much time as we had left in the game, that 3-possession game still gave us a chance.
Absolutely.
And we just didn't capitalize on it.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to Hamilton Heights this week.
Yep.
All right.
Old stomping grounds.
Yeah, old stomping grounds. A lot of people up there. A lot of people will be slipping over on the sideline, shaking your hand, and glad to see you and everything like that. What about the Huskies? I know they got a win this week. Mitch Street probably is.
They got a big road win at Northwestern, and when you look at it, they're starting to find themselves a little bit. I know, I think that Tipton game, you can throw that out the window. They had some kids get in trouble, make some not so good decisions that I know Coach Street wasn't proud of, but they're starting to find themselves a little bit offensively. They got a really good run game going. Their offensive line gets off the ball really well. They have a couple of big physical kids up there that we have to pay attention to, and guys that are good enough to go play for anybody on our schedule. And so for us, it's we just got done challenging our kids. How do we make us better? That's the important thing. Throw the opponent out the window, and yeah, we do have to spend a little bit of time on the opponent, but we have to spend as much time concentrating on getting us better this week, and that's across the board. There's some special teams things we got to get cleaned up, and with our coverage units, defensively. We have to become more disciplined this week, and we have to drill that, we have to teach that, we have to coach that, and I think offensively it's a little bit of the same. We have to win the takeoff a little bit more, and that's across the board. Not only is it on the offensive line, but it's also on the perimeter. We talk about winning the takeoff a lot. We didn't win the takeoff Friday from an offensive perspective, so we got plenty to work on this week. We have to get the discipline back that we've played with at times, and we have to build that into a habit for us and be a lot more consistent.
Yeah, because the key to it, just like you said, it doesn't matter who's playing across you on the line, either on offense or defense. It's all about execution. If you do your plans to the best of their ability, you got a good chance of winning.
Yeah, then we're certainly going to give ourselves a shot, regardless of who we're playing on our schedule. We haven't been consistent enough through the first 5 weeks, and so we got a lot to work on this week for sure.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time out. I know you got to get ready here for practice, and you always look dapper when you come in here all dressed from school, and you got to go put on your work clothes.
That's right.
And go to work out there. Got a freshman game tonight, and that's a good group of kids, and hopefully things are going to be brighter in this last few games.
We just got to keep digging.
Yeah, got to keep grinding away, don't we?
That's right. That's right. I appreciate it. Thanks, Barry.
Thank you.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
The IHSAA, in partnership with Blue Frame Technology, is pleased to announce that you can now watch your favorite IHSAA sports on the all-new IHSAA TV Apple TV app. Watch live or search through thousands of archived broadcasts. Have an older Apple TV? You can still watch on your TV by going to AirPlay on your iOS device and choosing Apple TV. Download the new Apple TV app now in the Apple TV App Store.
Breast care navigation at Community is a lot like sailing. Navigators have to read the wind without seeing the wind.
The breast care navigator will follow the patient and their family through the continuum of care.
My nurse navigator was always there.
Just to be an advocate for that patient.
You need the biggest support system that you can, and to know that you have one other person there who can help you through it is definitely something that is amazing.
Can I help you?
Yeah. I'm looking for Logan Street signs and banners.
You found us.
But this ain't Logan Street.
We moved 22 years ago.
You're telling me that Logan Street signs and banners isn't on Logan Street anymore?
Exactly.
So what are you saying?
Logan Street signs and banners conveniently not located on Logan Street, but on South 10th Street in Noblesville, Indiana.
Welcome back to the Hamilton County High School Football Coaches Show, presented by Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating 25 years in business. We're joined now by Fishers Tigers head coach Rick Wimmer. Rick, I was talking to people over the weekend, and one of the things we were talking about is you look at HCC top to bottom, and yes, you have some teams that are up there in the top, you have some teams that are down toward the bottom, but there's still 7 good teams in that conference.
Well, yeah, it's a tough league to play in right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're struggling to win games there. We lost pretty handedly to Brownsburg this weekend, and we've got another tough battle with Avon this coming weekend. So it may be the 2 top teams in the conference. I don't know, but I know Avon's one of the better teams I've seen. They've just been rolling. I was impressed with Brownsburg as we played them this last week. Very physical and good speed, good skill, and I thought they were very good. So if there's teams better than those 2, we're gonna struggle.
It's going to be a struggle to find teams better than that. Let's talk a little bit more in depth about that game on Friday night. It sounded like from the way things started there, you guys had a tough time getting going. Tried to come back, but Brownsburg just kind of took over.
They took the ball down the field the first series, and we didn't really give up a big play early, but we just couldn't get them off the field. And then we went a 3 and out and missed a couple opportunities in our first series. Missed on a pass that would have been a touchdown. Quarterback read it really well, play action, and he had 2 choices to go, and he read the right one and just missed the guy, and then came back with another play and missed the guy again, and just if we been, I don't know if it made a difference in the game, but it sure been a better start for us if we could have got something going there, and we did about our third series, I think, have a good drive and go down and kick a 32-yard field goal, I believe, and then did score a touchdown. Matt Wolf, a quarterback, was able to put it in the end zone on a touchdown, and then we got the ball back at halftime, down 28-10. And with about 48 seconds to go, and ran a pretty conservative play just to see if anything would happen. We took the ball over on the 20 after the kickoff, and wasn't too sure I was going to go try to make anything happen. But we got good yardage on our first somewhat conservative play, and then so we went into 2-minute mode and got about 4 more plays and ended up kicking a 47-yard field goal by Ben Norton. So ended the half on an upswing, down 28-13. But really was knew that we had issues defensively, not able to get stops. They were running the ball, throwing the ball, whatever they wanted to do, and then offensively we although we had a couple of drives there where we got some things going, we weren't able to really get it going the second half at all, and it just turned into a bit of a rout. So we've got work to do. I still believe in our football team, and I thought we had a great practice today. Players felt like not they're certainly not turning it in. They're excited about this game this week, but But Avon is a big challenge, that's for sure.
Yes, yeah, that most definitely. One of the things I've always noticed about your teams, Coach, since you've been up here in Fishers, is that you have always had what I've considered to be a very good kicking game, and what an asset that is to you. And Norton, I saw he had a 47-yarder,
Right.
well, I guess for him a 34-yarder is more of a chip shot, but that's always been an asset for you guys.
We've had good kickers and good punters. Joey Gailey's our punter; he's doing a nice job punting the ball. But we've had our struggles in the kicking game in terms of protection and coverage. It hasn't been bad. We've had some good reps and some good nights, but just as a team, I mean, I think the struggles we're having, I don't think you can rule any one of the three phases out, or say we're getting it done on any of the phases, or it's all the fault of one phase.
Mm-hmm.
We've each of the phases have had breakdowns at times, and so we've just got to. I feel like we could, the problems that we're having, and make it important enough to do that, then it's hard to turn it up on game night and expect to compete at full speed. And like I said, I thought tonight's practice, it showed some signs that maybe we're understanding that, because I thought we had a great practice tonight. So we'll see.
Offensive and defensive stars or accolades for the game Friday. Who you like to single out?
For this last Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ben Norton and Joey Gailey both did a nice job in the kicking game. We mentioned them. I thought Matt Wolf competed very hard for us at the quarterback position, and led us on our touchdown drive, and then led the most of the drives. Although we put our quarterbacks in and out, that we're not really rotating series or anything, but they both had a hand in getting drives going for us. But I thought Matt really competed very hard and made good decisions with the football. So, I was pleased with him, and just a lot of other areas, though, we're going to have to really improve on and play better than we did this week.
Friday night, the Orioles come to Royals Tiger Stadium. Tell us a little bit of what you know about the Orioles and what to expect from them.
A lot of speed to skill positions. They've got 3 or 4 receivers that can really run. One of them, and I can't say his name. Number 23, Guerrero or something like that, is a track star.
I understand what you're saying.
He's I think a state champion long jumper, but he's a outstanding athlete. Shiatovich, the other receiver that they go to quite a bit, good speed as well. Running back James is outstanding, but maybe as good as we'll see. Offensive line is not just big; they really have good feet, play very well together as a unit. I've really been impressed with their offensive line. Then defensively, it's kind of hard to single out guys, but they really they're really physical, and they play fast, they play hard, and they do a lot on defense that can cause, can get pressure on you and can cause some confusion. So we're going to have to be simple in what we do and in our plan, and like I said, I thought for tonight, for a Monday, as we presented our plan to our guys, I thought they took to it pretty well. So a lot of times on Monday you'll have a lot of mistakes, and I thought tonight we did a pretty good job considering. So
I've seen
it'll be a lot different when we're lined up against their guys as opposed to our scout team.
I've seen them twice this season, and I would just describe them as a very well-oiled machine. I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
No, they're very good.
Yeah. Health-wise, how are we looking?
Well, we've got some guys out. We've been pretty healthy the last couple of weeks, and we got some guys banged up this week. Some of them still a little bit questionable about whether or not what their availability is going to be Friday. But Michael Nettleton is probably out at linebacker for a couple weeks. And Jeffrey Brown and Peyton Dozier will fill in his spot, and they'll Peyton's a senior and has done a nice job in spots when he's got an opportunity. Jeffrey Brown's a sophomore who's going to be a really good linebacker, and just just how well he's or how soon he's ready to go. We'll try to get both those guys ready this week, and then some other guys. We've got several other guys we just don't know about yet for the week.
That's Coach Rick Wimmer, head coach of the Fishers Tigers. Coach, good luck against Avon on Friday night. We appreciate you being here. The Hamilton County Coaches Show is brought to you by Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating 25 years in business. Greek's Pizza, 317-770-4444. Call ahead, order it ahead, have it delivered, or go dine in. Noblesville Trophies, Community Health, Bill Clifford for Sheriff, and the Hamilton County Reporter at www.readthereporter.com. We'll be back with more of the Coaches Show after this brief timeout.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Oh, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
The IHSAA, in partnership with Blue Frame Technology, is pleased to announce that you can now watch your favorite IHSAA sports on the all-new IHSAA TV Apple TV app. Watch live or search through thousands of archived broadcasts. Have an older Apple TV? You can still watch on your TV by going to AirPlay on your iOS device and choosing Apple TV. Download the new Apple TV app now in the Apple TV App Store.
Breast care navigation at Community is a lot like sailing. Navigators have to read the wind without seeing the wind.
The breast care navigator will follow the patient and their family through the continuum of care.
My nurse navigator was always there.
Just to be an advocate for that patient.
You need the biggest support system that you can, and to know that you have one other person there who can help you through it is definitely something that is amazing.
Can I help you?
Yeah. I'm looking for Logan Street Signs and Banners.
You found us.
But this ain't Logan Street.
We moved 22 years ago.
You're telling me that Logan Street Signs and Banners isn't on Logan Street anymore?
Exactly.
So what are you saying?
Logan Street Signs and Banners, conveniently not located on Logan Street, but on South 10th Street in Noblesville, Indiana.
Welcome back to the Hamilton County High School Football Coaches Show, presented by Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating 25 years in business. We'd like to thank our other great sponsors, Greek's Pizza, South 10th Street in Noblesville. Dine in or give them a call at 317-773-4444. They'll have it ready for you to pick up. Noblesville Trophies, Community Health, Bill Clifford for Sheriff, and the Hamilton County Reporter at www.readthereporter.com. We're joined by Huskies head coach Mitch Street. Coach, finally get that goose egg off the record and get a victory over Northwestern.
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough. You know, you're kind of bouncing those things when you haven't found a win and you've had some opportunities to, and it's good to definitely get that one and feel like the hard work that you've been putting in is finally paid off with your kids and even for your coaches too. So that was definitely good to get your first one.
Let's talk a little bit about that game against Northwestern. How did it play out in your mind?
I thought we came out. We had a great week of practice and prep heading into to Friday night, and I thought we had a really good understanding of our game plan and what we wanted to do, and I thought we came out and got stopped early, and it was what you wanted to do, and drove up the field and scored on our first drive, and we from there I think we kind of kept going. We kind of slowed down a little bit in the second quarter, but offensively at least, but played really good defense throughout, and were able to rush the football pretty consistently and get first downs. That was huge in that game, and the fact that offensively, though we didn't score, we probably could have, maybe left a touchdown or two out in the field. We always were able to get first downs, and we have a pretty good punter, and so we were able to flip the field, and we made Northwestern consistently have to drive the length of the field, and that was huge for us.
Well, you kept it, shall we say, close and interesting until the fourth quarter, and finally got the 8 points in the fourth quarter to not only give you the lead but give you the victory. Yeah,
I mean, I think, like I said, offensively, I thought that we probably left some opportunities to score out on the field just with some errors or whatever the case might be, but it really had a huge drive in the fourth quarter there that we were able to score on and able to we ended up going for 2 there and stretched made it where they had to get the field goal as well, and that was huge. That was a huge drive for our kids. We had a couple turnovers in the second half that we were able to overcome, which was huge for our kids because we've had a couple different opportunities this year to perhaps go out and win a football game, and errors and mistakes and stuff like that kept us from doing that. And so being able to overcome those errors and then put together a nice offensive drive to win the football game was really nice for our kids.
With 16 first downs in the game, 205 yards rushing, 71 yards passing. Not really a bad night, especially in such a low-scoring game.
Yeah, and especially where we've been offensively too. We've had our struggles throughout the first 5 weeks of our season, and to really establish our running game and really kind of impose our will in our running game there, especially late in the fourth quarter. There we had 2 big drives, and one we didn't end up scoring on, but we moved the ball down the field, and then the scoring drive there was huge. And more than anything, I think our defense was really kept them out of rhythm too, and that was we had contributions in all 3 phases of the game, and we made plays in all 3 phases of the game, and that was nice to see.
Now, let me make sure I get this name right. I'm not sure. Blake, is it Webble?
Wable.
Okay. He scored all 14 of your points.
Yeah, I mean, he's a kid that's really just, you've seen him grow. He's played a lot for us, obviously as a sophomore, and has played a lot for us all year long, and he kind of had a coming out party, I think, a little bit on Friday night. Had, I think, 180-some yards rushing on the evening, and just really showed a good understanding of what we're trying to do with our offense and kind of how he fits into those and how he fits in the blocking schemes, and hopefully he can continue to grow on that. He's a kid that's going to be really good. He's a sophomore, so he's not the biggest kid, but he's shown a lot of maturity and growth there on Friday night.
A couple other stars of the game.
I think defensively our front and offensively as well. Our offensive line and defensive line really controlled the football game. I think a guy like Noah Souder, is a defensive tackle for us and also plays offensive guard, and Troy Burgesson who plays on the defensive line for us and also plays tackle. I thought those guys played really well on both sides of the ball. And I think despite some mistakes our quarterback made, I thought Tyler Andis, another sophomore who's playing for us, I thought he kind of controlled the game and managed it. He did have an interception, but outside of that, I thought he did a really nice job of just managing the game and understanding what we were trying to accomplish. So I think there's a lot of good players who go around. Michael Cross made a nice interception in the end zone against Northwestern as well there on Friday. So a lot of people contributed and made big plays.
I was looking at your schedule this afternoon as I was getting ready for the program tonight, and in 9 games, 4 of your 9 games are against teams that are in higher classes than you guys. You guys play 2 4A teams, a 5A team, and a 6A team, and of course you got Noblesville coming up Friday night, and I've often talked to coaches and said, philosophically, why do you choose these types of opponents?
For us, it started really about 4 years ago, where we had a conference which we were traditionally, at least, able to win football games pretty consistently and not necessarily be challenged, because we were playing smaller schools. They were playing a lot of 2A schools in our old conference, and so we looked to try to beef up our out-of-conference schedule, and that's when you added Mount Vernon, and we added a Noblesville, which was originally week 2, and so and then our conference falls apart, and we go to a conference that's full of more 3As and 4A schools, and then some changes that have to come, and then you're looking for an opponent just because of the conference change, and you're trying to figure out logistically in terms of travel and those types of things. So that's kind of where Kokomo comes into play. They're a closer school, but at the same time, we've been we consider ourselves a program that's been pretty successful in 3A, and a program that can compete with those games. We want games in which you got to work to win, and when we're playing a lot of sophomores, that's really tough. That schedule is really kind of a daunting schedule. We're really senior heavy last year. It's a little bit more manageable, but it's one of those things where it'll change again next year. Our schedule looks to kind of, because of conference changes and things within our conference and scheduling like that, it'll change some. But it's one of those things that just kind of you look to boost it, and then it maybe got too far out of whack a little bit too. But we don't apologize for our schedule. It is tough, but
builds character too.
You got to play tough and physical, and it builds a brand of football that's going to lead to success.
Well, one of the things I've noticed through the years, Coach, is that, and this goes back to the years, before Hamilton County Television came on the air, back in the days of Hometown Sports and Channel 19, and going back way too many years.
Sure.
I'm aging myself here. Is that most, the sports programs at Hamilton Heights, they've always been very well respected and very well run.
Well, I think so. I think I think there's a lot of really good coaches, and one of the things the Heights has had over the years since I've been there, it's my 10th year there, is that they have really good assistant coaches that are in the building, some or late coaches that have been I've been really fortunate to work with, and on the football side of things, but just throughout our program, that you have really committed people who are focused on doing it the right way, and and I think that's something that's kind of carried, starts with our athletic administration and our school administration and trying to do things the right way, and it kind of bleeds into all those different areas.
Well, I've lived in Hamilton County almost 30 years now, so I've seen the only word I can think of is the explosion in how it's grown. And of course, your area hasn't grown quite as rapidly, but we're getting the towns like the Westfields and those that are a little further north. The people are moving your way, and I look. I see a lot of similarities with you guys in, for example, Mount Vernon, which was a much smaller school a number of years ago. Their area has grown, so I really expect in a few years that you guys will probably come out easily into 4A and possibly into 5A fairly soon.
And we'll see how that shakes out. It'll be interesting to see just kind of where the population goes and transfers and stuff like that. It's obviously changes the game as well, and so it'll definitely be interesting to see kind of where we go population-wise.
Well, we've already talked about the fact that the Noblesville Millers are coming up to meet the Huskies Friday night. Tell us how you're going to approach that game.
Well, for us, it's a game that, being where we're at, we're 1-4. We're a team that's, yes, you want to focus on your opponent, yes, you prep for your opponent, but we've got a lot of work to do ourselves. That we want to see growth, we want to see improvement, we want to see us getting better at things in which we really focus our attention on, and so that's our first goal. Is that we got to continue to move ourselves in the right direction. I think the last couple weeks, despite the week it tipped in there where we lost, it's a good football team there. I thought we made some strides, and I thought we made even more strides against Northwestern. And so, for us, we talk about growing a week. For us, we kind of need to grow multiple weeks, for us to kind of get where we wanted to get. And so, really trying to grow as a football team, and with playing so many young kids, they can grow a little bit faster. I think that you have a little bit potential, especially if they're focused in their they're going into it with an open mind. I think they're really seeing some growth with those guys. Noblesville's a team that's struggled, but I think they got some really nice players. They're dealing with some injury bugs, and got some guys hurt and banged up, and kind of similar that they've been close. And some had some opportunities to either be in a game or even win a couple games as well, and just have fallen short. I think they're kind of similar to that in our regard. The opponents are different, and they're playing 6A teams and 5A teams or whatever else, but similar to us, they've had some chances and they just haven't been there. And so for them, we respect them. Obviously, respect their coaching staff. We have some common coaches who've coached together over the years, and are friends, and so we definitely respect their staff and what they're going to do. And we know it's they're searching for a win, and we are too. We've got to figure out. We want to get our second win, and we just have to. I think for us to have a chance to win this football game, we're going to have to control the football offensively. We're going to have to take calculated shots offensively, and I think Noblesville's kind of found a little bit of a groove offensively the last couple of weeks, and so being able to kind of slow them down and keep them off the field as much as possible is really critical.
They came within 19 seconds of beating Westfield a couple of weeks ago, and I was at that game, and I will be at your game along with Craig Atkins on Friday night, so we look forward to seeing all you guys up at Hamilton Heights. That's Mitch Street, head coach of the Hamilton Heights Huskies. Coach, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, and good luck. You're watching the Hamilton County Football Coaches Show. We'll be back after this.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry-out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Oh, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
The IHSAA, in partnership with Blue Frame Technology, is pleased to announce that you can now watch your favorite IHSAA sports on the all-new IHSAA TV Apple TV app. Watch live or search through thousands of archived broadcasts. Have an older Apple TV? You can still watch on your TV by going to AirPlay on your iOS device and choosing Apple TV. Download the new Apple TV app now in the Apple TV App Store.
Breast care navigation at Community is a lot like sailing. Navigators have to read the wind without seeing the wind.
The breast care navigator will follow the patient and their family through the continuum of care.
My nurse navigator was always there.
Just to be an advocate for that patient.
You need the biggest support system that you can, and to know that you have one other person there who can help you through it is definitely something that is amazing.
Can I help you?
Yeah. I'm looking for Logan Street signs and banners.
You found us.
But this ain't Logan Street.
We moved 22 years ago.
You're telling me that Logan Street signs and banners isn't on Logan Street anymore?
Exactly.
So what are you saying?
Logan Street signs and banners, conveniently not located on Logan Street, but on South 10th Street in Noblesville, Indiana.
Welcome back to the Hamilton County High School Coaches Show, presented by Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating 25 years in business. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsors, Greek's Pizza on South 10th Street, Noblesville. You can dine in, or you can carry it out, or order it ahead of time. Give them a call, 317-773-4444. Our other sponsors are Noblesville Trophies, Community Health, Bill Clifford for Sheriff, and the Hamilton County Reporter at www.readthereporter.com. Well, it's my pleasure to welcome Guerin Catholic Golden Eagles head coach Tom Dilley to the program tonight. Coach, another big victory for you guys last Friday night over Broad Ripple.
Yeah, our kids did a nice job of getting off to a good start and doing what we needed to do, and we were able to play a number of kids, and some backups got some good minutes and made some nice plays themselves.
Well, it sounded like from what I was able to read and see, I mean, obviously with a 56-14 score, you guys really controlled the game and controlled it from the onset. I mean, being ahead 50-0 at halftime.
Yeah, we executed our opening script, and defensively, we were flying around, took the ball away a couple times, got a couple short fields, took advantage of it, and executed fairly well.
Luke Keller had a big game.
Yeah, I think he only threw 6 times, but 4 of them ended up in our hands in the end zone, and get a credit to the offensive line and the receivers running good routes, but he executed well.
It just, from what I saw as I was looking at the stats and everything today, about the only negative I could see in the game, and to me it wasn't really a big negative is you guys had 3 penalties in the game, but didn't lose the ball. Scored all the touchdowns. If this is right, you never even punted the ball Friday night.
No, we didn't. We had good starting position, and even the few 4th downs we had, we were able to be in the based on field position. We ended up going for it a couple times and got a couple of them converted. So no, and like I said, even the kids that came in that were backups kept things rolling pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
They certainly struggled physically against some of the older kids, but they kept pounding away, and even our freshman group got one in the end zone, and that was exciting for them.
Well, obviously Luke Keller gets a star of the game. Who else would you like to single out as far as offensively and defensively?
Offensively, I think our top runners each only got maybe 3 carries or so, but we had some backup kids that came in. One kid named Cam Murray, he's a sophomore, a real tough kid. Great downhill runner, not very big, but man, he comes at you, and he carried the ball 10 times for over 50 yards or so, and I think he had about 90 yards of returns on 3 returns of different kinds also, so we had a good all-around game. And I had a freshman tailback named Jagger Albert who rushed for about 50 yards on 10 carries and punched a touchdown in. Defensively, Dylan Crossan played well, one of our safeties. We had a couple backup corners that got quite a bit of action. Zach Sutton and Danny Rode both stepped in and did a nice job against some pretty big athletic kids. And our guys up front for the most part were flying around. Charles Bach was his normal self, flying around making plays, and we did get one of our starters back, who's now a 3-year starter for us, Logan Weaver. Came back from an injury and played well in limited time, and it was great to have Logan back.
How was the health of the team this week?
It's the same relative to what it's been the last couple weeks. We actually did get one kid back at corner. Brian Ponder came back after being out last week, but we're about the same. We're in good shape.
You got 4 games left to go. 3 of those 4 games are your conference games. It's kind of strange how that all works out with the scheduling. But this weekend is Chittard, and from what I've seen of Chittard, they've got a 1-3 record. But my feeling is they're a little better team than that 1-3 record indicates.
It's a lot of fun to compete against Bishop Chittard. You always know what you're going to get from a standpoint of they're going to be a well-coached, very aggressive, physical, fundamentally sound, competitive, and very talented football team. And that's no different this year. They're 2-3 after the win last Friday, and they've played a very, very good schedule. They're a good team.
How do you prepare for them?
Same way we prepare for everybody else. I mean, we just work as hard as we possibly can to identify and match up what we do well against maybe what we think we can take advantage of, and vice versa. And we're going to try to play our best football game this Friday.
How do you think you match up against them now?
They have some really good skilled players, and they've got some good-sized kids on the front on both sides of the ball. They returned some experienced defensive players who gave us trouble last year, and really like their quarterback and skilled players, and they have a couple good running backs they rotate through. I think I hope we match up favorably, but there's no glaring weakness in that team. They're a good football team.
And as per usual, the Eagles will have that 6th man out there, that great crowd that you guys have got.
No, and Bishop Chittard, I'm sure, will bring a big crowd. It'll be a fun atmosphere, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, we'd like to wish you good luck this weekend, Coach. And I know, it's, I'm not going to say a lot different, but a little bit different as you start moving into the conference play, because some of the games are a little bit more significant than others. And then, of course, the last game of the season will be against Roncalli. And every game's a big game. And,
I think our kids believe. I think the next game is the most important game, and that's the same every week. So it's obviously a lot of fun to prepare for a rival and a team that you have so much respect for the program and the staff and the players, like Bishop Chittard. But we just want to win. We just want to play our best football game each week.
I just thought that in your game against Lafayette Central Catholic, that you guys kind of well, even a little bit at Martinsville, going in there and taking a win out of Martinsville away from a 5A school. But then, especially the game against Lafayette Central Catholic, I thought that you guys really set the tone for the season for your team. I think you've got a team there that when I saw them, a group of kids and coaches who believe in themselves.
No, I think so. I think our theme all year has been count on me, and that's what we strive to live up to that every day and make sure that each one of us is doing what we need to do to be counted on by the people around us. And that's one of the great things about this game. It's bigger than all of us, and it's such a team-oriented activity. We all need each other. So I think our kids are becoming better teammates every week, and hopefully becoming better football players too.
That's half the goal right there. That's Guerin Catholic Golden Eagles head coach Tom Dilley. Coach Dilley, thank you for joining us tonight, and good luck against Chittard. I almost said Ron Colley. Almost got it wrong there. Sorry about that. And we'll be back with more of the Hamilton County Coaches Show after this brief timeout.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Oh, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
The IHSAA, in partnership with Blue Frame Technology, is pleased to announce that you can now watch your favorite IHSAA sports on the all-new IHSAA TV Apple TV app. Watch live or search through thousands of archived broadcasts. Have an older Apple TV? You can still watch on your TV by going to AirPlay on your iOS device and choosing Apple TV. Download the new Apple TV app now in the Apple TV App Store.
Breast care navigation at Community is a lot like sailing. Navigators have to read the wind without seeing the wind.
The breast care navigator will follow the patient and their family through the continuum of care.
My nurse navigator was always there.
Just to be an advocate for that patient.
You need the biggest support system that you can, and to know that you have one other person there who can help you through it is definitely something that is amazing.
Can I help you?
Yeah. I'm looking for Logan Street signs and banners.
You found us.
But this ain't Logan Street.
We moved 22 years ago.
You're telling me that Logan Street signs and banners isn't on Logan Street anymore?
Exactly.
So what are you saying?
Logan Street signs and banners, conveniently not located on Logan Street, but on South 10th Street in Noblesville, Indiana.
Welcome back to the Hamilton County High School Football Coaches Show, brought to you by Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating 25 years in business. I'd like to also thank our other great sponsors. That's Greek's Pizza on South 10th Street here in Noblesville. Dine in or give them a call and order it or pick it up or whatever. If you want to get a hold of them, give them a call at 317-773-4444. Also, Noblesville Trophies, Community Health, Bill Clifford for Sheriff, and the Hamilton County Reporter, www.readthereporter.com. I'm joined by Sheridan Blackhawks head coach Bud Wright. Coach, you're putting up some big numbers this season. Big victory over Clinton Prairie there Friday night.
Yeah, we had an exceptionally good ball game. They came in 3-1 and 2-0 in the conference. We're 3-0 in the conference. And the last time we played them was 2 years ago, and they gave us a good defeat. So our kids came out ready to go and got off to a great start and put them away early. What were some of the keys to the game? I think the keys is our offensive line. We dominated up front, offensive and defensive line, and that I think that was the big key as far as the game is concerned. And they gave us the off tackle play, and we took it all night long. So we just basically dominated up front, I believe.
Well, you're 4-0 in conference play now. with a couple, two conference games left, and looks like you're pretty well on your way to a possible another conference championship.
Well, hopefully. We can't count on it too quick yet. We got, like I say, we got two. Actually, we're the only conference school that hasn't been beat yet. So if we get a win this week, it will at least guarantee us a share. And but we'd like to win it all outright. So we got two good conference games ahead of us yet. We got to prove ourselves.
Well, it looks like Drake Delph had a heck of a good game Friday night.
Drake had a heck of a good ball game. He had besides what he did, he had one long run called back. And he was 4 out of 6, I believe, throwing the football, and then we basically quit throwing then, or he could have had a much better night, but it was 4 out of 6 for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that's been a big difference, I think, in our offense this year. We've been able to throw the ball, and Drake's been doing a lot better job. He's up over 50% throwing the ball. I think he's about 53 or 54% on the year. With 6 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions, and that's been a big difference as far as our ball club's concerned, I believe.
Well, let's talk about the opening drive of the game for you guys. It took you less than a minute and 15 seconds to get on the board.
Right. We came out and we actually run a lot of motion this year. We went back to motion plays and such things I used to do a few years ago. And they were shifting their safety and their linebackers. They were shifting both of those to our motion, and so we came back on third play of the game. Came back with a counter play to our running back Joe Callahan, and he broke it for 41 yards and touchdown. And then we just went from there as far as scored in the first quarter.
Callahan, according to what I have here, had 164 yards and 14 carries. A very productive night for him.
Yes, Joe had, and he only played 2.5 quarters.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit different against Carroll the week before. He carried the ball 47 times, and he only got to carry it 14 times this week. But Joe, he's a great team player. And as long as we're winning, he's not going to complain about anything.
Now, did you tell him he had to carry the ball up until he had more than 150 yards, and then he was done, and that's why he had so many carries the week before?
No, I'll tell you what I did. I went to the stat guy who was on the sidelines right there, and in the middle of the third quarter, I said, I'm going to take Joe out. How many yards he got? He got over 100. And he says, yeah, he's way over. He's 164. And so next series we took Joe out on offense.
Defensively, another great night for the Blackhawks. Who would you call your defensive stars of the game?
Oh, our defensive backfield, I think, has really been doing a good job shutting people down. We've been going against teams that like to throw the football, and we shut Carroll down the second half last week, and we basically shut their quarterback down. He had like 900 some yards passing in 4 ball games, and we did a good job of shutting him down. And I think the defensive backs, and then our I think just our team altogether, our front 4 did a heck of a job, plus linebackers. I mean, everybody had a pretty good ball game, I think.
Yeah, it's strange the way scheduling worked out, and I was just looking at your schedule this afternoon. And, here we are at the end of week 5. You got 4 games left, but 3 of those 4 games and the next 3 games for you guys are all on the road.
Right. When we changed, we had a conference change. For the last 2 years, we had 2 divisions in our conference. Well, we had 3 schools drop out of the conference, so that left us with 7 teams as far as the conference football is concerned. So we went back to a single division, and so we had to change the schedules around. And when they got the schedules all worked around, we got everything straightened around, it came out that we had 3 road games in a row. It's not good this year, but next year it'll be nice.
Yeah, you'll have the 5 home games instead of the 5 road games in that. Friday night, you travel over to Taylor. Tell us what you how you're preparing for that, and what do we know about Taylor?
Well, Taylor's got some individually good athletes. They got a quarterback that's been this may be his 4th year starting. At least he started for 3 years, and they got two running backs. They alternate, and both of them got exceptionally good speed, and they open the things up. They run a lot of sweeps, a lot of stuff out wide, and they try to throw the ball all over the place. So that we're one of those teams again where we're going to have to play good defense. The main thing we got to worry about is their team speed. They got, like I say, they got some individual kids that can run, and that's what we got to be aware of.
Well, I see the following week is at Tipton, and that's got to be kind of a little bit of a. I know they're not right in your backyard, but that's got to be a rivalry game too.
I try to tell the kids we can't think about that right now. Taylor's 2 and they're actually 2 and 3. They won last week, and so they're a 2 and 3 ball club. And we had a little bit of talk with the kids about that tonight. That we can't look ahead to the Tipton ball game. We gotta beat Taylor, and then we'll look at Tipton. But yes, Tipton's rolling along pretty good. I think they're throwing the ball all over the place also with Rotherham.
Yep.
They got some good receivers. So,
how's the health of the team this week?
We lost a player again Friday night. Cole Cummings took a blow, and he's got knocked out, and so he's going to have to go through concussion protocol. And so he'll be out this week. Then we'll see from there. But he's been a starter for 2 years for us, and he's one of the top defensive players we got. But we take the attitude that next man up. We got another junior kid that we think will be capable of stepping in there and do the job for us.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. That's Coach Bud Wright, head coach of the Sheridan Blackhawks. Coach Wright, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you.
And good luck this week at Taylor. And we'll be back with more of the Hamilton County Coaches Show after this break.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Oh, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
The IHSAA, in partnership with Blue Frame Technology, is pleased to announce that you can now watch your favorite IHSAA sports on the all-new IHSAA TV Apple TV app. Watch live or search through thousands of archived broadcasts. Have an older Apple TV? You can still watch on your TV by going to AirPlay on your iOS device and choosing Apple TV. Download the new Apple TV app now in the Apple TV App Store.
Breast care navigation at Community is a lot like sailing. Navigators have to read the wind without seeing the wind.
The Breast Care Navigator will follow the patient and their family through the continuum of care.
My nurse navigator was always there.
Just to be an advocate for that patient.
You need the biggest support system that you can, and to know that you have one other person there who can help you through it is definitely something that is amazing.
Can I help you?
Yeah. I'm looking for Logan Street signs and banners.
You found us.
But this ain't Logan Street.
We moved 22 years ago.
You're telling me that Logan Street signs and banners isn't on Logan Street anymore?
Exactly.
So what are you saying?
Logan Street signs and banners, conveniently not located on Logan Street, but on South 10th Street in Noblesville, Indiana.
Welcome back to the Hamilton County High School Football Coaches Show, presented by Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating 25 years in business. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsors, Greek's Pizza. Incidentally, Greek's Pizza is our food sponsor. They provide us with great food every week here for the coaches. You can reach them on South 10th Street at 317-773-4444. Other sponsors include Noblesville Trophies, Community Health, Bill Clifford for Sheriff, and the Hamilton County Reporter. That's at www.readthereporter.com. Coach Matt Alfeld joins us from the Hamilton Southeastern Royals. And, Coach, when I woke up on Saturday morning, I opened up the Hamilton County Reporter, and I think their headline was very, very appropriate in what turned out to be an excellent game with the Royals knocking off unbeaten Westfield.
Yeah, it was a heck of a game, and first half it just kept being a possession trading type of a game where both teams were doing a great job defensively stopping the other team. They came out and took the ball and went for it in their territory on fourth down. Fourth and short, we got the stop, got the offense the ball, couldn't do anything with it, and just kept trading possessions, trading punts. We were able to get a little bit of a drive going right before half, and Jackson Sweeney punched it in on a 4th and goal from the 1 and put us up 7-0 going into the half. So just a back and forth affair, just a hard hitting, just well played on both sides, I felt, football game. And Westfield, that's a heck of a team. They're 12-game winning streak, and one of the premier teams in our area, and in our state. So just a great night, great win for us over a quality opponent, and couldn't be more happy with the results.
Well, when you see the goose egg next to Westfield as a defensive coordinator, you have got to be elated.
Yeah, and like I said, it was just one of those things where we were on the field a lot, and our offense, I think, punted 11 times. So we had to keep turning them away, and fortunately we were able to do that. I thought that our defensive line played a really nice job. Particularly, I felt Rodney Warfield had a great night for us, taking on double teams. He got some pressure on the quarterback and busted up some plays. But the main thing I noticed is how clean our linebackers were staying. Our linebackers were staying clean because our defensive line was working really hard, hitting the man over top of them, not letting guys climb to the second level and chip off and seal off our linebackers. And so our linebackers were able to make quite a few plays. Rutger Pori and Dalton Potter both had big tackles for loss for us on 4th down plays.
Mm-hmm.
We stopped them on 4th down 4 different times to end drives, so that was huge. And that was a result of great linebacker play, but also the guys up front doing their job. I thought our alley players, Johnny May and Jack Boyd, did a great job. They were disruptive in the passing game and came up and helped on the zone read and the quarterback run. And then our secondary played very, very well. Francis Coomer and we had Eric Daly, and we had Isaiah Phillips and Anthony Eggers out there. Did a really nice job. Didn't let anything get over the top of us, which had been our Achilles heel coming into the game. The big play, particularly in the passing game. So we tackled very well. That was one thing that stood out on film to me. Coming up and making tackles, and first guy making good solid contact, running their feet, and then team tackling. We had 11 hats flying to the ball. So great night defensively for us, and our offense salted it away there in the last 3 minutes with a big play to Nick Munchner. Cody Sparks to Nick Munchner for around 60 yards to put us up, and that was the final score.
Couple key 4th down stops. Talk about those plays.
They had us in 4th and short a couple of times, and the first one, the one I spoke of in the first quarter, Jack Boyd came off the edge and stopped him and kept him 4 to 5 inches short. Another was a fake punt. Anthony Eggers came up, made a really nice play on that. And then the other two were our linebackers. Dalton Potter made a really good read and got across a blocker's face and made a tackle for loss in the backfield on a sweep play. And then Rutger Pori, almost an identical type of a play. And those are huge. To us, those are turnovers because that's taking their offense off the field and giving our offense an opportunity to get a drive going and put points on the board. So that was big for us.
Well, the week before, I had seen the Westfield Noblesville game, and that came down to the last 19 seconds of that game, and Westfield managed to pull a rabbit out of the hat and win that one. And as I was watching the game Friday evening at Reynolds Royal Stadium, I'm sitting here going, when there's just a few minutes left with just like a 7-point lead, and I'm kind of going, whoa, I just kept thinking about what had happened the week before and how explosive they were in that. And then when Nick Munchner grabbed that 58-yard pass play, that was like I've never heard such a sigh of relief and happiness in a football stadium in my life.
Yeah, that was big. That was big, and we'd kind of been setting that up a little bit, and it's something we'd been working on all week, and the play we ran for that to come home for us and to give us that cushion was huge. So when we needed to step up and make a play, our offense stepped up and made it. So that was phenomenal for us.
69 yards rushing for Jackson Sweeney. Is he getting back to 100%, or has he still got a little ways to go?
Well, he's starting to look like the Jackson Sweeney of old for sure. So very encouraged by that. So Jackson's a kid that he can score. Anytime he touches it, and he can help loosen up the defense a little bit. And if he hits a hole and he's got a little sliver of an opening, he can take to the house. So to have him back gives us a weapon that we'd been lacking a little bit early in the season. So definitely encouraged by what we're seeing from Jackson.
Well, it was a great night for the Royals Friday night with a huge victory over the Shamrocks. But it certainly doesn't get a whole lot easier having to go over to Zionsville and meet the Eagles on Friday night.
No, not at all. And that's a game, last year, as the defensive coordinator, that's one of the roughest nights, despite the fact that we won, that we had last year. They ran 82 plays against us last year for 592 yards, so we weren't doing a whole lot of stopping anybody that night. And they've got a great offensive scheme. You name it, they run it. They come out in 24 different formations. They're running shovel passes. They're running every trick play in the book. They've got a really good zone game. They've got a good split package where they can waggle off of that to the wing. So they've got so much stuff you can't possibly, in a week's time, show it to your kids and prepare them for everything that they could possibly see. So we're just focusing on playing sound football and making sure that we're defensive-minded and responsibility-minded to not open things up for the big play. And I told the kids tonight, last year they ran 19 plays that were 10 yards or greater as far as the gain goes. So definitely was a long night for a defensive coach last year, and so we've got to shore some things up and make sure that we're ready, because they're going to come out and they're going to bring it. And they've got a couple of just really great receivers, big athletic kids that can go up and get the ball, a good running back, and a quarterback that's throwing the ball accurately and can also run and scramble. So got a big task in front of us on Friday going up to their place, and going to have to be on our best to pull that one out.
I know every game is important, Coach, but in the scheme of things, after a game like you had last Friday against Westfield, how much does that mean to you as a coach, and how does that maybe change your perspective a little bit of how you are doing things with the team?
I mean, for us, and I think when we had those early couple of conference losses and started off the conference season 0-2, I think for us it became just more about us than it did about the opponent. And we talked to the kids about taking care of us first and making sure that we're getting better. We're getting better at blocking, tackling. We're getting the right personnel groupings on the field, getting kids in the right positions to be successful and to make our team ultimately successful. So, that's the thing that as we move on this last month of the season here before the playoffs begin, I think that we got to continue that. You're going to look at the upcoming opponent. You want to put your kids in a position to be successful, and you want to go out there and get a win. But ultimately, for the next month, it's got to be about getting to where you're at your tip-top performance going into that sectional, and then it's a new season, and everybody's going to start back at 0-0, and let's see what happens. But it's got to be about us going forward and making sure that we're at the best we can be.
And of course, 3 of the 4 last games of the season are conference games, and not that non-conference games aren't important, but I saw a quote from Coach May the other day in one of the newspapers, and he was talking about the fact that he and the rest of the coaching staff had the confidence that this team had the capability to beat a Westfield.
I mean, we've known the potential's there, and we've just struggled to put all 3 phases together for 4 quarters. We've had special teams miscues, offense has struggled, our defense has struggled getting stops. It's just, we've had trouble getting everything to really click. And on Friday night, we had things come together, and we came as close as we've come all year to putting 4 quarters together. So that's the thing you got to do against the conference we play in and against the 6A schedules. You got to put all 3 phases together for 4 quarters, and we were able to do that on Friday night, and that led to a win.
That's Coach Matt Allfeld, assistant coach for the Hamilton Southeastern Royals, also a very happy defensive coordinator this week. Coach, we thank you for being with us tonight. We'd like to thank our great sponsors on the Hamilton County Coaches Show, those being Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating 25 years in business, Greek's Pizza on South 10th Street in Noblesville. Dine in, or you can carry it out or get it delivered at 317-773-4444. Our other great sponsors, Noblesville Trophies, Community Health, Bill Clifford for Sheriff, and the Hamilton County Reporter. You can read them at www.readthereporter.com. Our final coach interview tonight is with Westfield head coach Jake Gilbert. Our Perry Williams had a chance to catch up with Coach Gilbert a little bit earlier this afternoon, and here's their meeting.
County Coaches Show. I'm Perry Williams, and alongside of me today is Coach Jake Gilbert. Welcome, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Great. Friday night was kind of a different story, going in 4-0, and you faced the Hamilton Southeastern Royals, and it looked like it became a real defensive battle.
It was, yeah. I thought both defenses played great, ours included, even though we lost. We gave up 1 touchdown at the end of the first half. I think we were just a little fatigued, made a few mental mistakes, and they made a few plays. And then late in the second half, we were kind of gambling and trying to make something happen because we weren't doing very well offensively, and we gave up a touchdown in the process. But really, it was 2 stout defenses playing great defensive football.
Yeah, because not much offense on either side of the ball. So,
no, if you like punts, this was the game.
Yeah. So the stats weren't a great part of this ball game as far as on the offensive side. Let's talk a little bit about that defense. Even though you gave up 13 points, let's talk a little bit about that and then some of the key players.
Sure.
Because that sounds like probably in a game like this they were on the field a long time.
Yeah, they were out there a lot. The usual suspects played well. Kobe Hauser, Colin Caldwell, Griffin Lickfeld, Michael Delaney, same guys we kind of talk about every week. Had some good play, no doubt about that. One kind of newcomer who did really well for us was Luke Honeycutt. He's a sophomore defensive lineman, and he had a lot of production during the time that he was in there, so we were really excited about him. Felt like our overall corner play for the most part was pretty good. Seth Tackett had a good game. Dorian Henson played well. We got Nathan Wynn back from injury, and that was a nice spark for us to be able to play him some and help us get another skilled defensive back on the field. So I was pretty happy with some of those guys. We played well. We just didn't get any takeaways, which to HSE's credit, they didn't turn it over. Neither team did. But that could have helped us if we could have forced a takeaway or two. We got a few sacks. Held up against the run really well. Didn't give up many explosive plays until that last touchdown and one on their 2 touchdown drives. That's when we did give up explosive plays. Yeah. But otherwise, we played really great.
Well, that's good. And, you're playing a lot of young players, and we talked about this early on, and have talked about it several times. You're playing a lot of young players that. Inexperience and sometimes that comes to the forefront, but it was still a good football game, and you're 4-1 and you're still in the hunt for the conference championship, which is important to you guys. But the one thing about somebody's got to be Davon.
Yeah, and they look pretty good.
Yeah, they look real good.
Right now we're pretty much focused on us and Brownsburg, and that's what we have to do now. Young players or not, this is who we have. So most of those guys are on offense, and we just have to get better.
Yeah, and of course, 5 games in, basically they're experienced football players.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So the whole sophomore excuse thing, it's just an excuse now.
Yeah. excuse me, let's talk a little bit about Brownsburg, because even though this team is what 1, 2, 3 and 2, this is a good football team, and they score. They can put points on the board, and they have a very good running game.
Running and throwing. So they have, in the wide receiver spots, they have a Division I kid who's out of this world, probably the best receiver in the conference. They have another kid who's an Indiana State offer. They're very good at running the football. I think the quarterback, even though they lost Mr. Football, the quarterback's done a great job. He's an excellent football player. And they're big up front. So they had to move in a tight end who's 6'4", 260. So they're pretty good on offense. They're scoring over 40 points a game. So they're a very impressive unit. And they're 3-2, but their 2 losses are to Avon, who I think is one of the very best teams in 6A, and Lawrence North, who's also a really good football team.
Absolutely. And in the running backs, and looking at the stats today, of course, Friday's game wasn't updated, but they got 4 strong backs that are over 140 yards already this season. So
sure.
And
part of that's their JV's gotten to play quite a bit, and so in the end of games they've been able to play guys because they won by big margins. But yes, they're very good.
And of course,
in several ways.
Yeah, and of course, Donnie Marcus is their workhorse. He's gained over 400 yards this season. So, and he's only a sophomore coach.
Yeah, they're good. They're really good.
Well, let's talk a little bit about their defense, because they have been scored on and everything. But what do you think about Brownsburg defense?
Well, again, they're big up front. Their nose tackle's 330 pounds. The other 3 D linemen are at least 6'3", so they're big up front. They're athletic at corner and do a nice job there. They don't give you a whole lot to attack. We were able to score a little bit on them last year. It was a great football game. They beat us in overtime by 1. They went for 2 and got it, and so that was this coach's first year there last year. So kind of just looking back at last year and how they've done this year, starting to get an idea on what their identity is under this coach. Coach Hart's an excellent football coach, and they'll be well coached and ready to go, but so will the Rocks, hopefully.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk a little bit about this week is homecoming, okay? So as far as the community and the students and everything, this is a very exciting time for them, and you guys do a great job over here with the homecoming festivities and the atmosphere and everything. But it is a little bit tough on a football coach because of the distraction.
Sure. We've done a great job of that over the years, making it about the game and not about everything else, but absolutely, there's some things that getting the way I learned the hard way as a football coach, my first year as a head coach, about what homecoming can do to you. So we try to buckle down on some things this week, but hey, we're thrilled to host homecoming, that all these people would want to make our team part of what they're doing on Friday night, and we just need to make sure we give them a great show to understand what Rocks football is all about.
Now you have some great leaders there in that senior class and everything here, but this is the first loss for you guys in a while. So
yeah, we'd won 12 in a row. So some of these guys, it's just been so long, but I know one thing, like none of us liked it. So don't want to get used to it. Don't want to take a step back. Obviously, we have some really tough opponents coming up, so it's not going to get any easier. But no one's going to feel sorry for us either.
No.
We have to overcome any adversity and step up and find a way to get it done. I mean, that's just all there is to it.
The one thing about it is this season, the Hoosier Crossroad Conference, I think all the coaches that have been, and with some of the schools, we're not maybe as strong as we have been in the past.
Right.
And obviously this year the MIC has really stood out about the talent, especially, but with the surgence of Lawrence North, Lawrence Central, and North Central, which
Pike.
was Pike. You know, those were the bottom dwellers of that MIC, and they have become good football teams. So, but you're still in the hunt for this Hoosier Crossroad Conference.
Absolutely, yeah. We're not conceding anything. I know we lost, and kudos to HSC. They did a great job, and they deserve to beat us.
Yeah,
but we got to buckle up and play this week, so we're ready for that.
Yeah, because you know, outside of Southeastern and Noblesville, you know, there's 4 teams that only have 1 loss in the conference, and of course, Avon's out there in front at 2-0. So it's going to be an interesting conference.
Definitely.
And so, Coach, best of luck here, homecoming night, homecoming week, and everything. And I know you'll have your team ready for Friday night. We'll be here to broadcast the game as usual, and we're excited for the great atmosphere that you have here. And with homecoming, it'll be even over the top. Like you said, there's you know, one thing about homecoming, it brings people back that haven't been to a football game for a while or haven't been since last year.
And I love seeing our former players. A lot of them are off in college doing great things. But when those guys get to come back, that's pretty special for all of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thanks a lot, Coach, and good luck, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank
Go
you.
Rocks.
Take County, Coach.
Welcome back to the Hamilton County High School Football Coaches Show, brought to you by Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating 25 years in business. I want to remind you about some of the other sporting events coming up this week on Hamilton County Television. Coming up Wednesday night at approximately 6:30, it'll be girls volleyball as the Carmel Greyhounds will be at the Mill to take on the Noblesville Millers. Friday night is doubleheader football with Brownsburg at Westfield. That'll be Jack and Victor, and Craig Atkins and I will be up at Hamilton Heights as the Noblesville Millers visit the Hamilton Heights Huskies. We'd like to thank you for watching tonight's broadcast of the Hamilton County Football Coaches Show, presented by Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating 25 years in business. On behalf of everybody at Hamilton County Television, this is Brad Silbert. Good night.